Good morning and welcome to the first ever episode of the Check-In, which is like this video weird segment of the Framework podcast to see where everyone is and what they're doing. Today we have Josh Dykgraaf. Hello.
Hello, Nico. It just occurred to me we could have done this as like one of those Pokemon
Big reveals. Yeah.
Like with what you did with Fran. Just like start with
completely like backlit, like silhouetted, and then reveal itself. But as you well pointed out, when I asked you to be part of this, you said that it actually says the name on the graphics of the person interviewed. Yeah. So like the big reveal might not be the best of ideas, but sure. How are you doing? What is happening with this, like all of this pandemic and things, and everyone being stuck at home?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm going a bit stir crazy. But chugging away. It was like the first few days were actually, some people it seems to be getting harder as it goes on. I think I've kind of acclimatized to it.
Ooh, already. Nice.
Yeah, well, like, I don't know. Yeah, the first few days I was just like, I don't know how to put it, very restless and having a lot of trouble focusing. It's like, oh, look at all these things I could be cleaning in my apartment. And, oh, look at all these games. Also, this game that I've been waiting for the last 8 years for came out at the start of the isolation. So that didn't help.
What's the game?
It's called Mountain Blade Bannerlord.
Ooh, what kind of a game is that?
So it's pretty like...
is it like trucks? Question. No. Is it like tanks and like Warframe kind of thing?
No, not at all. It's kind of like this medieval simulator that's like
nice.
It's like everything top to bottom. But anyway, yeah.
I've been playing a ton of games as well, and I can't I have a lot of games on my Switch, and I keep on like buying new ones to review them and all of that. But at the same time, I can never seem to find a game that can grasp my attention enough. Like everything seems to be always like a little bit like, oh, I wish like this was a bit more like, oh, it got me a bit more. I want a new Final Fantasy. That's what I want. I want something that has like 150 hours of game time and then 300 hours of like other additional quests. Another Zelda Breath of the Wild. That's what I need right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was about to say, like, I think it was like I used to be a pretty hardcore gamer once upon a time, but as I've gotten older, and as I understand all the mechanics of games more, games just don't hold me for as long because I know what's going on, and I know I understand the world that they've built around me already, and it's lost that kind of magic, and the escapism isn't quite there.
Yeah.
Getting old sucks. But yeah, so like quarantine has been, and also so like Alex and I've kind of in a dual quarantine. We're kind of alternating and spending half our week at each other's place, and then the other half the time alone. And
that's great.
So having someone to do it with is quite nice. But if it becomes a proper lockdown and I'm locked in my little 1-bedroom apartment full time, yeah, that might be a different deal.
Yeah, like this check-in would have been a little bit different with you, like just running up the walls.
Yes.
This is like, he turned into one of those Warhammer figurines. Like, that's it. That's life now.
Yeah, kind of. Well, yeah. And like, I've got all this energy pent up that I can't really burn. Like, I don't have like I usually walk to Framework. So that's like a bit over an hour of walking I do every day that I'm not doing.
Yeah.
And like the gym near my apartment's closed. The gym in my apartment building is closed. Yeah. So
is the gym on top of your apartment closed as well?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it's closed.
For some reason I thought only public gyms would be closed, not the like in-building ones like yours. Interesting. Didn't know that.
No. So it's a pretty large apartment complex I'm in, and like so there's a bunch of communal spaces, and they were all shut down pretty early.
Now you're just flexing. We get it.
Kind of.
I'm kidding.
But well, like my point is because there's so many people in the building. Yeah, the communal spaces were closed very early.
No, it makes sense. And
So
like energy management, I agree with you. That is like completely like one of the biggest problems, not only mental, but like
yeah,
proper physical. Like you get stressed out because you can't really release energy. You can't really do things. And of course, like the home workout does what it has to do and it keeps you like from becoming like Jabba the Hutt. But at the same time,
yeah.
it's just that it's not the same. You don't have the same thing. And I feel what you said, like the pent up energy that is constantly there. It becomes difficult to sleep and it becomes difficult to wake up at the same time. It's weird.
Well, actually, yes. So I've been having a bit more trouble falling asleep because I've got that energy, but at the same time, I'm having an easier time waking up in the morning.
Oh,
Like
nice.
I'm like waking up at like 6 o'clock of my own accord for some reason. So I'm like, all right, off I go. And then
I needed some of what
and
you're
then
having.
and then my desk is like, my desk is 5 meters away from my bed.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Show us your setup. Show us your
all right,
setup.
let's do
Where are you working from?
it. Let's switch this camera around. So,
Ooh,
so
nice.
basically, actually, this is kind of part of the restlessness thing. This is where I work. Um, I'm using the standing desk a lot more. And I basically take it in my exact same setup at Framework,
Yeah,
and then transplanted it back to my apartment to try and kind of replicate the headspace for working.
that's
So
great.
I'm a bit of a plant person. So
Yeah, we
it's
could
pretty,
see.
it's
But
pretty
that's
lush.
nice. Especially in moments
So
like this where you have to spend all of your day in an apartment, having so many plants. Hello, baby Yoda. Having so many
yeah,
plants like is so good. I was
oh,
never a plant person myself, and then once we moved in the house we're in now, and it's full of plants, it's just so different. Oh, and that's your studio now.
exactly. So now, yeah, my kitchen is like, yeah, and then like, oh yeah, and then I'm using like a desk lamp to basically my like studio light is a desk lamp.
Yeah, and then like
Uh,
the tray as a reflector. Nice, nice.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty good. I've
So
what are
well,
you,
I'm making do with it. Like it's yeah, it's
if
kind
there's
of
one
now.
person that I know that can make do with what they have, it's certainly you. You've always been making do like and creating like the best results out of like not necessarily the best of situation or the setups. So it's something that
Mm.
always impressed me of what you do.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I saw that you're working on a new project. You're doing like a
Yeah.
work, right?
So that's kind of yeah, that's something I'm pretty excited about. It's the first time that someone's actually commissioned me to make like an animal in the style that I've been working on for the last year.
Nice.
Um, so it's like a musician based in Sydney, um, and like he's got a budget. They've already made like a music video and stuff, which is pretty uncommon in the music world. Um,
Nice.
and so the music video for his that they made features his husky, um, and the husky's name is Icarus. So I've
Ooh,
been making the husky out of feathers.
makes
Um,
sense. Like
so
the legend? No, it's not a legend. It's a tale.
yeah, it's a
Or
comes from Greek mythology.
yeah,
It was
mythology.
Icarus and Daedalus, and his father Daedalus made him. I think I've got that right. His father Daedalus made him a pair of
Wings.
wings, and he tried to fly too close to the sun, and then the sun heated up the wax that the wings were made of, and then he fell to the ground and died. The end.
I don't know.
Um,
Like I remember, like that when we studied it at school, Icarus always felt like a sad example, a sad figure. Whereas, like I
yeah,
don't know, he's the ultimate dreamer. He just went
he's really
like,
yeah.
I'm gonna go for it.
It's aspirational
Yes.
in a certain sense, but yeah. So I think it's supposed to be about a cautionary tale of over ambition or unrestrained ambition, I think, or something like that. But
Yeah.
anyway, so that's what I'm working on. And
It's cool.
I've
Do
gotten
you think like this situation affected your workload a lot? Like,
yes, oh yes. So like my bread and butter client makes conferences,
yeah.
and then
Yes.
but we also travel to certain locations to host the conferences. And we had 3 or 4 events on the books between now and January.
Ooh. Goodbye,
All gone.
everyone.
Yeah. So, but on the other side of that, I've been getting a lot of like shorter term projects as well, because like the ad agency sent people home. So
okay. So it makes sense that they would
so
like outsource like smaller tasks like that. Like not necessarily
yeah,
smaller in terms of like that they're not complex, but it's
yeah,
just like
yeah,
faster tasks. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm really busy for the next month. But
Amazing.
after that, who knows?
I kind of have a feeling that like you're one of the few people that I will interview for this check-in section, and you're one of the few that is going to tell me like, well, I'm kind of busy for the next month. I imagine to like stumble upon 90% of
There's a
people from Framework going like, I am struggling to find work, because it feels like everyone's in that boat.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like that's the thing is, I work remotely 99% of the time anyway. Like
True.
I'm giddy as a school kid whenever I actually get to have a meeting in person with someone, because like it never fucking happens. My most of my meetings are on Zoom. I mean, so in that sense, yeah. Um,
Eh,
I can't shoot any new material. Um, but apart from that, it doesn't slow me down too much.
yeah, you can't really go.
But
Well,
now,
technically,
uh,
you could just take your car and go like in remote areas and shoot new material. That wouldn't
yeah,
be
it's true.
as of today, that wouldn't be a problem.
Yes. Although, like, there's talks today. Like, I was listening to ABC News this morning, and like, yeah, the premier is discussing the next level of
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
quarantine, which might be in the next week. Which is, I think, I think that's all that's left, isn't it, at this point? Quarantine, like
Just
full
like
lockdown.
lockdown. Yeah, could be. Well, I don't know. I have Italian, the Italian experience in my head all the time. So like I feel like I can predict what is going to happen, but it's never like that. Fortunately, the two situations, the two countries are immensely different, and that's a
Mm.
good thing. And so like I don't want to try and predict what is going to happen. I'll just wait and see, and I don't know, take it as it comes, day by day.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
important thing that I wanted to ask you are there any changes that needed to happen in your life with this self-isolation thing that you actually enjoy and that you would want to keep after this? Like, has it brought
Mm.
anything positive?
Yeah, well, that's for sure. It's had me like reconsidering like like my workflow, my work style. Um,
How so?
well, so I've been like processing the ways like so. I mentioned that I've been struggling to get myself into a headspace to work,
Yes.
and it's kind of so I've deconstructed what kind of I've been forced to deconstruct what it is that gets me in the headspace to work. So like the first thing is
Ooh.
make well so at the most basic level, make sure that you get out like okay, so what I've been doing is I've learned that I need to make sure I get dressed and I get ready to leave the apartment even though I'm not actually leaving.
Yes.
That's fundamental. The other thing I've been doing is going for a walk in the morning, going for like a 20 or 30-minute walk even though I'm not actually going to framework. And then so basically even if I just like circle the block, leave the house and come back and sit at my desk, and then at the end of the day, go for another walk.
Okay, so
Like, so
reenact
that like
what your routine was. There was like
yeah,
waking up, dressing up, like exercising or like moving your body,
yeah,
then working for a big
but
section, then moving again.
it's not just that. It's like there's a transition between the relaxation headspace and the work headspace.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I found that like great. Yeah, oh, it surprised me. Um, like all of this stuff is a big part of why I co-work. Like
Yes.
when I was first starting out freelancing, I was basically working out of cafes and working out of a share house that I was living in, and I went out of my mind. Like
Yes.
like the community at Framework and like the kind of the almost passive social aspect of it, and having the specter of like the specter of people being able to see what's on your screen, giving you some kind of external accountability is a huge part of like how I'm able to be productive.
100%. Like one of the things that I found the most difficult myself is the fact that since it's four of us in the house, we're all kind of working from a different section of the house. We're lucky enough to have a big enough house to host everyone and have like a privacy when you're working. But at the same time, you can't really overlap because I don't know, I'm most of the time on Zoom calls or like trying to record stuff for online purposes. Ben is doing animation and drawing at the moment. Nick is doing writing and like doing a lot of podcasts. So you kind of tend to lock yourself in. And I decided to do this in my room. So like I've set up here from my room. And the weirdest thing is that no one's here to check what I do. And so sometimes I feel like I can just, I don't know, like I can say I've been working the whole day with the door locked behind me, but I've actually been like under the blanket all day going like, oh, why is it? What's the meaning of all of this? You know, whereas you couldn't necessarily do that in a co-working space. You're not no one's actually pushing you to do stuff, but you feel like you have to rise up to your surroundings the whole time. And that's why we love so much co-working, you and I. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and I've also missed like, so a lot of the time when I get towards the end of a project, I'll like saddle up to somebody else and be like, hey, Nick, can you tell me what you think of this? And I'm like, and I can't and like, yeah, we'll like go and have a conversation in front of my screen about what's there and what's working and what's not.
Yeah.
And like, I can't do that. Or just like bouncing an idea off you, or like
you should have a TV screen.
Getting feet.
You should have a massive TV screen with a constant feed of myself, Francis, Nick, and other people, and we constantly have to give each other feedback. It would be a disaster. We would probably go insane.
Terrifying.
I know.
Well, the other thing I've been doing on the external accountability thing. So the thing I'm working on right now is client work.
Yes.
But I asked them for permission if I could like do the hour by hour thing I've been doing on Instagram, posting updates and things like that. And so if I like particularly in one of like not long after the isolation started, when I was struggling to work, I was doing that, and then someone like a few people were like, okay, so where's my next update? It's like, oh shit, people are actually paying attention and actually like want updates. Like,
that is great.
So it's a bit of a negative, a little bit of negative reinforcement, but I have found it to be pretty effective.
It is a reinforcement, and like it keeps you accountable for things. I think that like online feedback can be incredibly useful for that. I remember when I started running to train for the marathon, and running is not a thing I enjoy doing. I started posting every run online just so people would keep me accountable. So the days I would skip running, like a few of people off of Instagram would say like, where's your daily run? You told us like you were doing every day this week. Like, why didn't you run yesterday? And then you kind of go like, oh, fine, I'll go running now. It's 11 p.m. I'll do it. It's just that it keeps you accountable and it's a big help. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will send you messages about like, where's my update every 10 minutes from now on. I'll set reminders, unlimited reminders. Just to be helpful and to annoy you a little bit because it's something that I dearly miss doing.
Yeah, I like it. I'm definitely missing that kind of that social aspect.
Yeah,
like the framework and
it'll be over soon. One way or another, it'll be over
Friday
soon.
Beers on Zoom.
Yeah, I know.
That's grim.
No, I didn't want to sound like that. It's just like whatever. We'll see. No spoilers. No spoilers.
Maybe we could do Friday drinks on Zoom or something.
Yes, like, on house party or hangouts and something like that.
Oh yeah, a lot of people mentioned House Party to me. I haven't actually used it before, but all right.
You will soon, trust me.
Yeah,
Josh, thank you
yeah.
so much for like having spent time with us and doing the check-in. The first episode, let's hope like everyone wants to do this and we can kind of like be a little nosy into everyone's houses and setups while we're all
Yeah.
stuck in isolation.
Well, also thank you for doing this as well. Like particularly like helping keep the community somewhat coherent and yeah, keeping us all in touch with people.
That is exactly what I wanted to do. But also, as you well know, I'm the kind of person that will go insane if I don't have interaction with people. And now I have a pool of only 3 that I can interact every day. So I'm going to reach out and interact with everyone. Not to go
Still,
insane.
like you've got a pretty good local pool of people.
Yes,
To like, particularly like, I mean, 2 of them are comedians. Come on.
I know, but have you ever seen a comedian without an audience?
Ooh, good point.
They're very different. We're going to close it now. And thank you so much again. Talk to you soon, man.
Thank you. Ciao.
Ciao.